Here's how you can capture your text messages, voicemail, and so forth using Google Takeout. So in order to figure out how to get to Google Takeout, just go to Google and literally type in Google Takeout. And then once you do that, you're going to click this link to sign in. I'm already signed in, so I'm going to just flip over to another tab. Once you're here, you can select data to include. So we're gonna do this. You're going to start by deselecting all of your choices, and then we're going to look for voice, which is down near the bottom someplace. So we're just going to scroll down here. There are lots of choices of things that you can download, but for these purposes, all we're looking for is Google Voice, which is right here. So we're just going to select that and then choose Next Step. And you're going to export once. It's going to be in a zip file. And you will probably want to increase this size from 2 gigabytes up to at least 4 gigabytes. If you have difficulty being able to download a zip file that large, then leave it at the default 2 gigabytes. What happens though is that if your file is larger than 2 gigs, then it splits it into multiple files, so you have to download all of those. I'm going to leave here because I've already done this step. I've already created my export. And then we'll show you what that looks like. So we're going to come over here and go to our downloads where I've already done this. And as I said, mine came through in 2 zip files because I didn't select the larger file size initially. So I've unzipped both of these by simply double clicking them. And then what you're going to do is click on one of the takeouts, and you're going to voice, and then you go to calls. And then you can select certain calls just based on like a person's name that's in your contact list. So let's say, for example, I want to find everything from Michelle. Then what you're going to, the last step of this in your communications file is to go through and select everything that is in the correct date range for that particular transaction. And then you just repeat that with everybody else who was involved in the transaction. So, include your inspectors, include the other agent, include your clients, escrow company, all that stuff. It really only takes a few minutes to be able to do it this way. So pretty simple. And then the other thing to be able to deal with in your communications is getting your email captured. The easiest way I've found to do that is to use this Chrome extension called Save Emails to PDF by Cloud HQ. And when you're using that, do the same thing. You're going over to your Gmail, and I'm just going to choose this client name. Now, typically what you're going to want to do is select here, and then I label each of my transactions. So I would go in here, select the label for the transaction, and then come back and select all 204 conversations. Then go here for the download button, choose Save Selected Conversations to PDF. And because there are so many, that'll take a few minutes to actually come up and load. So I'm going to show you the simpler version and just select a few of these so you can see how the process works. So merge all conversations into one PDF, or you can save each conversation in a separate PDF. I haven't tried doing it that way. That just seems like it would be an awful lot of PDFs to me. To me, it would be easier to have everything in one PDF. And you can name this. I would name it for my transaction name. So I would call it the street name and then the client's last name in parentheses. I want it to be in a letter size format. I want page numbers added. This is good for liability because it shows that you've got a complete record that way. And you can choose to remove all quoted text and replies and forwards, or you can leave it in. Either way is fine. And then just start the conversion. So this will take a minute or two to download, and then it just pops up in your downloads folder when you do this. So here we go. That's all there is to that. Pretty simple way to capture all your communications.